PSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well, you know that. I think you already know that. It does not matter who the host is for sure, as we are here today. Today's Wednesday, January the 5th of 2022. I almost said 21 there. Day number 5 of the year, and well, I think you kind of already know how the next thing's going to go. Only, yes, 360 days to go. You know, hardly any time left whatsoever in regards of getting everything moving and grooving and all that kind of fun stuff. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM and hanging out with those other friends and colleagues at that place that we do stuff with. You know, that other place.
Radio.
So yes, hanging out with the friends at RadioBig.fm. So, you know, it is a lovely Wednesday as we're moving and grooving and getting through this lovely year so far. You know, I feel, yes, it's that feelings moment that it's something that we're going to talk about always at the very beginning of the year of, I have a feeling that we need to talk about this. I know, it's kind of just stupidity blended to each other. So anyways, let's start talking about what was trending, what we were seeing hashtag-wise and all that kind of fun stuff. So trending on the overnight, Big Ben landed on Twitter's top 10 trends after the Steelers quarterback played his last game at Heinz Field on Monday night. Also another hashtag that was making the sequence of events and trends was I-95. Yes, was trending yesterday as media outlets kept up to date with reports that drivers stranded on the Virginia interstate. Virginia Senator Tim Kaine was one of the ones of the drivers who was stuck on there on Monday. He tweeted that he tweeted some information that he had been stopped for 19 hours on what normally is a 2-hour drive. So just for information purposes, as we're getting through that right away there. So there you go. So can you imagine that 19 hours being stuck on a roadway? That's pretty interesting. Good morning to those in the box, just in case. As we always kind of know, never know how the social media platforms are going to work out. So if you are interested in calling in, callinradio.com will be the easiest way to do so. Video, text messaging, and all that other kind of chatting stuff. So that's just callinradio.com. That'll get you through the system as we get moving and grooving. Anyways, another trend that was hitting up on there was the Washington football team was trending after it was announced that its official team name will be revealed on February the 2nd. More on the name later on. I mean, is it really that big of a deal? And think about that. If you went out and got all your garments, shirts, sports media, memorabilia, and all that, to only have the team name for such a very short period of time before you change it. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was going to be like the ballpark in Arlington. You know, you had that name for quite some time if you were a baseball fan, and we're going to the ballpark in Arlington. So there you go. On National Trivia, hashtag National Trivia Day was hitting around yesterday as Twitter users shared random trivia facts, including the fire department responding to a movie, Halloween Kills, where real firemen, upper class, applied crushed jewels onto their lips. I don't know. And did you know? No word on the English language rhymes with the month, orange, silver, or purple. So there you go. I don't know. Seems like a lot of interesting trivia yesterday. I did not know that about the Halloween Kills were real firemen. That's interesting to know. Definitely interesting to know. The fire department responding in the movie Halloween Kills were real firemen. Hey, that's definitely something I did not know. Good to see what's going on there. Anyway, so let's start talking about some of the charts that are out there. Some of the book charties on some of those things that are going on, because I always think that those things are important. So according to the charts of the nonfiction and fiction category on the New York Times bestsellers list, coming in at number 5 in the fiction category was Call Us, We Carry. At number 4 was the Lincoln Highway, definitely not I-95. At number 3, It Ends With Us. At number 2, The Stranger in the Lifeboat. And in the number 1 spot, according to the fiction category by the New York Times bestsellers list, was The Judge List by John Grisham. Okay, so giving it to you on the other side in the non-fiction category. At number 5 was The Lyrics, 1956 to the Present by Paul McCartney. At number 4 was the 1619 Project. And number 3 was Green Light. Green Light's by Matthew McConaughey. So I guess that made it back onto the list. Of course, at number 2 was Will by Will Smith with Mark Manson. And at the number 1 spot of the nonfiction category, this is a book I keep on telling myself that I need to get, but I've been kind of going down this other stuff with books, is Storytellers by David Grohl. So I'm going to have to take a listen to it. Now, I say take a listen to it because I listen to mostly audiobooks. It's interesting that if you do take the front man for Foo Fighters and shave off his goatee and beard, he looks a lot like the drummer from Nirvana. Okay, I say that jokingly. You don't need to attack me for that one. Anyway, so that's what's going on this morning as we are talking, doing all this fun stuff. Let's get us to our friends at Feature Story News. Let them talk about what's going on. So the way that this normally works, it goes like this. I bring in some professional broadcasters. They start talking about what's going on. I come back and start talking about some other things that are going on. And then we just kind of do that big motion of moving and grooving and getting everything together. And then we have you jump in, jump out, and do all the stuff that we're going to do together as we are having a fantastic time on this lovely Wednesday. So let's get you to some Feature Story News.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Kazakhstan's president accepted the resignation of the government amid a wave of protests that has led to clashes between police and demonstrators. More than 200 people were arrested on Tuesday. Julia Chapman reports from Moscow.
Protests turned violent on Tuesday night in Kazakhstan's largest city, Almaty. Demonstrators stormed a government building and police reportedly used stun grenades and tear gas against them. The demonstrations began on Sunday in western Kazakhstan, where people took to the streets over rising fuel costs. Rallies quickly spread to other parts of the country, with protesters expressing other grievances like corruption, low wages and unemployment. In a video statement, President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev has called for mutual trust and dialogue rather than conflict. He says a government commission will start working on a solution to the problems the protesters have raised. Julia Chapman, Moscow.
India logged over 58,000 fresh COVID cases in the last 24 hours, double the number recorded 4 days ago. Health experts are expressing concern over the rapid spread of COVID infections, requesting that people adhere to guidelines imposed by the government. Sriyoshi Mukherjee reports from New Delhi.
India is seeing a sharp rise in COVID infections and the country's total caseload has crossed 35 million. With the new Omicron variant spreading rapidly across major cities in the country, states are enforcing strict restrictions to contain the virus. The Health Ministry stated that over 2,000 Omicron infections have been detected in India. Most of them are being reported in Maharashtra and Delhi. India is also ramping up its COVID vaccination drive. Teenagers between the ages of 15 to 18 years can now get the jab to protect themselves from another wave of infections. So far, 8.5 million teens have received their first shot.
North Korea's launched what's suspected to be a ballistic missile on Wednesday in a move underscoring the country's resolve to bolster its military. Both Japan and South Korea are closely monitoring the situation. Seoul says it's preparing for a possible additional launch. The UK's travel industry is urging the government to remove all testing requirements for international arrivals to Britain. Pre-departure and Day 2 COVID PCR testing were reintroduced at the end of last year in response to the Omicron variant. The measures are being reviewed this week. Travel journalist Simon Calder says the sector believes the rules can be relaxed without an impact on cases.
The industry would be happy if the post-arrival lateral flow test stayed at it as it was, but they're really worried about that pre-departure test, which they say is completely undermining consumer confidence, and that December, Manchester Airport Group's traffic fell by 1/3 as people stayed away.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, the great BlackBerry switch off. The Canadian company that just a few years ago was absolutely dominant in the mobile device industry is discontinuing service for those BlackBerries still running its software. It is quite a moment. Back in the early 2000s, BlackBerries were everywhere. The first ubiquitous device that allowed you to stay in touch with your email while you were on the road. A fixture of a variety of industries, the BlackBerry became wildly popular with journalists, lobbyists, lawyers and politicians around the world and their staff. But they were eventually outpaced by Apple and Android and touchscreen technology that left only the diehards still tapping out messages on the BlackBerry keyboard. FSN's technology reporter, Will Guyot.
After 21 years, I think, of this particular software and services running, it's being completely turned off tomorrow. And these devices relied on access to almost a data connection to interact with their servers. And now that's being switched off. These devices essentially turn back into dumb devices. And like the company says, they're no longer going to be able to operate. So that's the end of the BlackBerry.
BlackBerry's owners indicated that the end probably should have come sooner, but they kept the software going, they say, as an expression of thanks to their customers. If you've got a BlackBerry, it's about to become a paperweight. Or perhaps a museum piece. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, Kazakhstan's president has accepted the resignation of the government amid a wave of protests. India logged over 58,000 fresh COVID cases in the last day, a doubling in 4 days. North Korea's launched what's suspected to be a ballistic missile, and the UK's travel industry is urging the government to remove all COVID testing requirements for international arrivals to Britain. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go.
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No.
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this. You will rock this.
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks put a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
While the little ladies are changing their costumes for the next act on Mother's Variety Show, I've got a tantalizing treat right here for anybody with a sweet tooth. And I think you know what I mean by sweet tooth. Yes, at this time it's my privilege to pass among you with a limited number of Mother's cookies. Let me repeat that, a limited number. Now, I'm not going to actually spell out what you're going to get in these passionate purple packages. After all, you look like a sophisticated audience. You know all about the wide variety of Mothers, macaroons, nuggets, big bars, and you couldn't get them as good in Paris, France, if you know what I mean. All right, who's going to be first? Now, don't be shy. One for you, sir, right? One for you, two for the gentleman.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
I know, 18 minutes past the top of the hour. Definitely just don't ask. Don't ask. Anyways, we are still here hanging out on this lovely Wednesday doing the things that we do. Hopefully you're having a grand time as we are, moving and grooving together on this lovely Wednesday morning. I think it's morning. At least it's morning where I'm at. Hopefully, maybe you're 6 hours into the future, and it's a lot later than what it is here at the moment. Anyway, so let's start talking about some things that are going on inside of the world. As you know, we cover a little bit about everything that goes about, and all that kind of fun stuff. So let's take it from the very top. A judge has dismissed the lawsuit filed against the surviving members of Nirvana over the cover image of their iconic 1991 album, Nevermind. Last year, Spencer Eldon, the baby pictured naked on the front of the album, claimed that the image on the cover was taken and used without his consent, and the nudity amounts to the image of child abuse. Monday evening, the judge presiding over the case in the U.S. District Court of Central California dismissed the case after Eldon missed his deadline to file an opposition to the defendant's motion to dismiss. But the dismissal was made with a leave to amend, which means that Eldon can file a new complaint. Eldon's new deadline will now be January the 13th. So I guess we find out a week from tomorrow what exactly will be going on there. Just some other news. Live with Kelly and Ryan is back to filming virtually amid the spike of the COVID-19 caused by the Omicron variant. Monday, they began their first episode of 2022 by addressing their return in a different format as part of the network's safety precautions. Ripa said that the viewers don't adjust your dials. We're coming to you from the studio, which we made to look like two separate bedrooms on January. It's just January 3rd, 2022. In response, Seacrest asked, "Are you sure?" before adding, "If it still seems like 2021 and will return to virtual hosting." He explained that the hosts are back home out of the abundance of caution of the because of the Omicron variant. So there you go. There's just some stuff that was going on, which I wanted to address right away. And I will tell you, I don't know how much detail I should go into as I reference this. But the different variants so far of the coronavirus have even impacted us here at Safety FM. I can tell you by just talking and interacting with all of the hosts that we have here, I don't know how much detail I should go into with some of this, but I will tell you we've had some members get COVID that are part of our network, including, staff members. We've had some other things occur that maybe I'm not the one that should. Now that I think about it, maybe I'm not the one that should be talking about this. Maybe I will let the individual host talk about it because it's pretty recent and pretty fresh. And the thing is that I have 3 things that have occurred within the last week when it comes to coronavirus that have been pretty big and impactful. I'll go as far as saying life-changing events with people that are part of the station. So maybe I should just let them talk about it, and I should just shut the F up, because that's probably going to be the better thing to do.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Anyways, let's go with what we do here that we should be doing, and let's talk a little bit more about the news. As of yesterday, there is a pretty good chance that the old BlackBerry smartphone tucked away in your junk drawer is no longer working, as we have just already discussed earlier. The way that it should. On January the 4th, the company stopped providing support for its classic devices running BlackBerry 10.7.1 OS or earlier. That means that all your older devices not running the Android software will no longer be able to use data, send text messages, access the internet, or make calls, or even be able to call 911. Now, keep in mind that we are talking about this because on how big BlackBerry was at one point. While most mobile users have moved from BlackBerry, the last version of its operating system launched back in 2013, so that should give you some math right there. The move of discontinuing the support of its phones marks the end of what was once considered the cutting-edge technology. The company originally announced the news on September back in 2020 as part of the efforts to focus on providing security software and services to organizations around the world under the name BlackBerry Limited. So if it wasn't before, your BlackBerry is now useless as the last 4 letters in the queue. So there you go, just some things to think about. And then wow, so now you thought that no one was looking to buy a secondhand BlackBerry before, so there you go, something to think about. And I'll tell you, I remember those things were super popular at one point. They were referred to as Crackberry because people used to use them so much at one period of time. And I will tell you, I guess I can mention this now because I don't think it's going to matter. I used to be able to hack that, the firmware and the iOS, or not the iOS, but the software on that thing, the OS on that thing, and be able to get it to do some things that it wasn't supposed to. Should I even be admitting to that? I don't know. I guess it's a little bit too late now to be talking about it.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
It was just always amazing to me, some of the stuff that the software could pull off and do, and all of that kind of fun stuff. Maybe I should just leave it that way. Maybe that's the better way to mention that. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of this world of ours as we are hanging and banging and all that kind of fun stuff on this lovely Wednesday. So a lot of things going on. Matter of fact, before I get too far inside of this, maybe we should bring Johnny Smalls in. He can tell us what's going on inside of the market beat, and then we can go from there.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Wednesday, January 5th, 2022. Equities wobbled again Tuesday, but the S&P 500 managed to set a new high in the process. The action was driven by the threat of rising interest rates, which are driving a wedge in the market. High-growth companies that rely on debt to fuel their growth are falling out of favor and are being replaced by blue chips, dividend players, and those with the resources to fund their own expansions. The blue chip Dow Jones Industrial Average, for example, gained more than 0.7% at the high of the session, while the tech-heavy NASDAQ Composite fell more than 1.5%. The focus of the week is still the NFP, however, which is scheduled for release on Friday. The consensus is for job growth near 420,000, with a slight downtick in unemployment. The ADP report released today is expected to show a similar 375,000 new jobs added for the month, and may impact the outlook for the NFP. You can get the inside track in your inbox at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one. Currently 26 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely. Anyways, we are streaming on safetyfm.com and radiobig.fm, just in case if you got lost there and not sure where you're hanging out. And then, of course, we're on different social media platforms. And I think we should probably start talking about our social media platforms because I'm on the verge of doing some changes. And I guess I still think I got a month before I'm going to do that change. So maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later. Also, just so you know, we are still continuing what we're doing on Safety FM Plus. And let me explain there. On a monthly basis, we've been releasing now some books talking about what is going on inside of the world of psychology and tying it into some of the stuff that we do inside of the safety world, just for information purposes. So that's something that we're going to continue to do. I think that because we're starting off with a new year, we'll do something probably this month as we're releasing the newer book here. I think we should have it released by next week about talking about quotes. So we'll talk about some of the happy-go-lucky quotes and how they became popular. But maybe I'm going off on a tangent at the moment in regards to talking about that. So let's talk about some other stuff and get that moving. And everything going on over there. What just happened with my computer? My computer always likes to do some fun things as we are hanging. So let's go into some other stuff. Laugh yourself well. Comedians could soon be prescribed by the National Health Services in the UK to combat depression. This is not a joke either. Angie Belcher, comedian and resident of the Bristol University, has been working with people in the medical field to develop sessions for people suffering from depression simply to make them laugh. She says that the courses could help people gain new perspective on their demons. 2 professional comics have signed up to help deliver the sessions, which will be prescribed free by GPS in the attempt of providing the laughter as the best medicine. And just in case you don't find that funny enough, when you ask for a copay, you'll be laughed right out of the office. So there you go. I know that the new professional comedians, and they're wonderful people, but asking them to help treat depression is like asking Ben Affleck for help with your drinking problems. Oh, that's going to open something else up.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
So let's talk about this one because I'm not sure if you heard about it, but let's do some reference pieces real quick about it, just in case. Have you heard about some scam poo? No, seriously, shampoo. You know that when you read the directions on your shampoo bottle, it always says lather, rinse, repeat. Don't judge me, but my life is kind of boring. Well, it turns out that when it comes to that part about repeat, they aren't kidding. According to hairdressers and TikTok users, at amy.does.some.hair in her video tutorial, which has racked up 1.1 million views. She explains the proper procedure for shampooing your hair goes like this. Thoroughly wet your hair, spread the shampoo over your hand, evenly distribute the shampoo all over your scalp, and after it has been spread through your hair, use the pads of your fingers to massage it into your hair and over your scalp. Don't miss your hairlines or nape. After you rinse, she always should repeat the process, but this time focusing on the scalp and letting your suds pass through gently at the end of your hair. The rinse again and add conditioner. She has some pointers that you should actually come into factor inside of there as well, but we'll leave those for another day. All you need to do to find out and take a look at it is go to tinyurl.com, and I'll give you this abbreviation because it's really a simple one. 3JS3U26M. Yeah, so that's in case that's 3JS3U26M. Yeah, I'm sure that's important. Yes, just when then your shampoo only lasts half as long, then you'll understand what exactly is going on. And I was always taught to shampoo twice. I guess that could be part of my conditioning if you really kind of start thinking about it when it's all self and done. Duh. Anyway, so I think it's about that time that we should start talking about our main story. So let's go into that right now.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
31 minutes past the top of the hour. You and I are hanging out on this lovely Wednesday doing the things that we do. It's amazing. It's amazing as we get into the year. It's amazing on how, we start referencing the different things that are going on. It's amazing the level of nostalgia on how things come about. Now, I don't know if I should say spoiler alert, but let's talk about it. I won't go into too much detail, but let's just use the perfect example. If you are a superhero fan and you love superhero movies, well, there is a good chance that you have already went and taken a view of the new Spider-Man movie. And you probably did it because there is some level of nostalgia when it comes to the movie. I won't go into too much into it. You've seen the preview, so you already know that there are some villains from the older Spider-Man movies that are there. A nostalgia act. You can also go back and take a look at the new Matrix movie that has come out. Also take a look at it as a nostalgia act. Now, don't get me wrong. Should we relive some of these nostalgic moments? Should we enjoy some of these things that we're attempting to do? Absolutely. I mean, think about it. Think about how trends come back, fashion sense come back, things that you've done in the past come back again, over and over and over again. Is there anything wrong with that? Probably not. Is it stuff that people enjoy? Yes, because we see it over and over again. I mean, I can remember that when I used to watch football a long time ago, they used to have one game, and I don't know if they still do this, that they would play with their older uniforms, just for the portion of nostalgia. But here's the thing. Even though it's a nostalgic moment, it's something that you're living, it's something that you're taking a gander to, it's something that you're doing. It's essentially a version of a new Mousetrap. Think about it. Think about how many times inside of your work career things have been repackaged and brought to you again as something new. Is it relatively new? No. Now, I will tell you this. I used to work for a very big, very, very big organization many, many years ago in retail. Yeah, this is years and years ago, decades ago at this point. And at the time, I had left to go to the competitor. And as I'm sitting at the competitor, we all of a sudden have sat down and we're going to write these new processes and new procedures. Now, this retailer, the new retailer that I was working for, kept on stealing people from the place that I used to work at all the time. So what they decided to do was take the handbook of the employee manual, the handbook, the SOPs, and just copy them over with a new color, but essentially doing the exact same thing that the previous company was doing. Just to make the simple aspect of when they brought new people in from the old company to the new company, they were already familiar with it. A nostalgia act. So it's essentially repurposing a mousetrap because people were already aware of it. People were already familiar with it. And it's so many times during this time of the year where we start seeing a lot of that. Think about this time last year. How many ads did you see that were related to going to the gym, working out, setting new goals, all that stuff? And don't get me wrong. I'm sure that we are as guilty as anyone else on doing some of that stuff. I'm sure that we're as guilty as anyone else on how some of those things occur. But when you sit back and you start thinking about this, do you let those new mousetraps that could be nostalgia acts affect you? Do you let some of these things have an impact on what you have going on? I mean, yesterday we sat here and we talked about realities and how they're different from person to person. So how does the nostalgia aspect of it work for you? I mean, think about it. If you're looking at a new home or if you're looking at a used home currently, you know that if you are using an agent or a provider or whatever, they recommend having the scent of vanilla cookies inside of the home because it triggers something in your brain of when you were a child, more than likely. And the aroma of the vanilla cookie and all that kind of interesting things on how they trigger your neurons. So how do you think about that? What comes to mind when all of this stuff starts happening? Is it essentially a new mousetrap, or is it essentially a nostalgia act? It's really something to think about. It's really something to give a lot of thought to because on how differently things change. But then again, when you think about it, are things really changing, or are things really just the same as they once were? It's really something to give some consideration to when you really think about it. So is there such a thing as a new mousetrap? Or is it just a thing that's known as nostalgia?
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
These days, it can be hard to find and hire the right candidates for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs made it easier to find the people that you want to talk to faster and for free. I have to tell you, even before they ever became a sponsor here on Safety FM, we have used LinkedIn Jobs to help find the people that we have here on Safety FM. It's an easy service to use. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of only the most qualified candidates. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week, nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you. You know how sometimes in life you have those moments of shoulda, coulda, woulda, you know what I'm talking about. It happens all the time to people. So let's talk about that very sensitive subject of male pattern baldness. Don't go through that moment where you're going, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Let's talk about my friends at Keeps. 2 out of 3 men experience some form of hair loss by the time they are 35. With more than 50 million men in the U.S. suffer from male pattern baldness. You don't have to be one of them. Think about this. There are only 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss, and my friends at Keeps offer both. Keeps offers simple, stress-free way for you to keep your hair. Convenient virtual doctor's consultations and medication delivered straight to your door. I mean, I have to tell you, just for the whole sake of not having to leave your house to have the consultation, that should sell itself. But the low-cost treatments start just as low as $10 per month, and Keeps offers generic versions. Discreet packaging and proven results. Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors. I want you to think about that. People love the product. Prevention is key. Treatment can take 4 to 6 months to see results, so act fast. All you have to do to take action to prevent hair loss is to go to keeps.com. That's KEEPS.com/safety. to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's keeps.com, KEEPS.com/safety to get your first month free. That's KEEPS.com/safety. Remember, not everybody has such a beautiful head as mine. So don't be saying coulda, shoulda, woulda. Act on Keeps right now.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go.
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No.
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this.
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a
were
plan.
Separated.
We were able to
all
get in touch with each other
scrambling and
in
had
no
no
time.
idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was
the
fine.
most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm
don't
and
ignore
keep to the
this
plan.
message.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, The Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you. Okay, there you go. 43 minutes past the top of the hour. Dance like a boss. This is by Secret City. The song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. So there you go. Thank you to Secret City for allowing us to play this one on the Rated R Safety Show. It is 44 minutes past, and we are still broadcasting live from Orlando. Yes, Orlando, Florida. Okay, so let's get moving. Let's get moving. We got still some things to do before we get you out of here. By the way, I guess I should ask the question. If you want to listen to us, do you want to listen to us throughout the day? Now, I know that sometimes people get confused about the whole podcast network thing, and they get confused on what exactly we're doing. Now, I'll tell you, besides that we're a podcast network, we're also a radio station, but we're more radio station than podcast network, which makes it even more interesting. So if you do want to hang out with us throughout the day, we do stream 24/7 on both of our radio stations. You can download the app for either one. That's no problem. But if you go to safetyfm.com, you can download the app right there. Gives it to you in different formats. Safetyfm.com. Download the app on the Apple, I guess we'll say on the Apple App Store, and you can also download it on Google Play, and it's even available as an Alexa skill, just in case we say that. I shouldn't probably say Alexa because your devices might be going off if you don't have headphones on, and nobody wants that to occur. So I should not say the word Alexa because, who wants to do that to you? So there you go. There's some options available for you in that format, and then, of course, you can always go to our other website at radiobig.fm. Take a download to us there, and we do some shared services on that particular side. So there's multiple radio stations under that. We're definitely listed under Freeform Radio. Anyways, let's continue talking a little bit more about the things that are going on inside of the world. If you have not known this, but vintage names that are due to come for a comeback. So let's talk about this. Consultus Care analysts analyzed more than 100 of the most popular names back from the 1920s, and they looked at the popularity in the past decades. In doing so, they identified the range of rare names creeping up on the charts for the first popular about a century ago in roaring 20s, and they're headed for a comeback, and here are some of the names. For girls, Doris, Della, Opal, Wilma, Winifred, Gladys, Nellie, Rosalie, and Maxine. Something tells me Maxine's not going to be a popular name this year. Just throwing that out there. For boys was Forrest, Ambrose, Phineas, Luther,
Emmett, Wilbur, Percy, Walter, Quentin, and Winston. So why do I feel I just walked into the doctor's office waiting room? Because that's definitely what it sounded like for sure. Just for some random information to share with you, here are some TV shows that are here based in the U.S. of A. that are turning 20 this year. American Idol, which started back in 2002 to present, turns 20. The Monk, which lasted from 2002 to 2009. 8 Simple Rules, 2002 to 2005. The Bachelor, that ran from 2002 to present. The Osbourne from 2002 to 2005. CSI Miami, 2002 to 2012. The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius, 2002 to 2006. George Lopez, 2002 to 2007, and Dr. Phil, that started back in 2002 and runs currently. All those shows are turning 20 years old this year. How crazy is that? Anyways, let me tell you real quick about my friends at the the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Know that you're not alone. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, hear about personal experiences and people in your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To hear more information, all you have to do is go to afsp.org. That is afsp.org, or call 1-800-273-8255. That is 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. So there you go. Just some options of things that you can do if you're so inclined to do so. Anyways, let's continue real quick. I still got some more Johnny Smalls coming your way. This way he can tell you about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Danny. Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, said, "Luck is a dividend of sweat. The more you sweat, the luckier you get." I've always liked this quote. I've had people tell me how lucky I am. It makes me smile because I really don't believe in luck. I do believe in hard work. I believe in getting up early. I believe in staying up late. I believe in doing the things that others don't want to do or just flat out won't do. And if you believe in all of these things, and if you practice them, it's amazing how lucky you can be. If you want to be lucky, put in the time and the effort, and don't be surprised if you do well. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quote can be submitted for an upcoming program at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by alasamworkham.com. For most of us, our wellness goals are a combination of things we would like to improve in our immediate present or nearest future, such as having plenty of energy, and things that can improve our health long-term with focus on longevity. An important factor that impacts longevity is regular sexual activity. In a 2017 study published in the Journal of Psychoneuroendocrinology, having sex at least once a week was associated with having longer telomeres, the protective Kaplan DNA that determines a cell's lifespan. Longer telomeres are associated with slower cellular aging and a higher life expectancy. Additionally, sexual activity reduces inflammation. It was found that the more sex someone had, the lower their levels of C-reactive protein and white blood cell count were, both markers of inflammation. Regular sexual activity can play an important role in healthy aging. For additional resources on optimizing your wellness, visit alasamworkham.com.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Well, I didn't know we were definitely taking it down to the deeper levels this morning, but hey, I guess we went there. Anyways, 50 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely, lovely Wednesday. Anyways, let's continue talking a little bit more before we get you out of here. Let's talk about Did You Know? 2 twins in California ended up being born on different days, months, and years, thanks to a rare and 1 in 2 million occurrence. Aliland Yolanda Trujillo and her brother Alfredo Antonio Trujillo were born 15 minutes apart on New Year's Eve. Each one straddling midnight, meaning that they were technically born in different years. Alfredo came in at 11:45 p.m., while Aliland followed just on the clock struck midnight. The siblings were born at the medical center in Las Salinas. Parents Fatima Madrig and Robert Trujillo also have a 3-year-old kid, just in case you thought that they weren't already going to have enough problems shuttling their kids around in different classes, different sports teams, and sometimes even different schools. So there you go. That's an interesting one. I will tell you, I have heard about twins being born where it's separate. There's a difference from a few minutes, and sometimes it can be different days. But think about that. Different month, different year. And, of course, that is kind of a fun time. I guess that's what we kind of take a look into when we start talking about all this lovely time around the New Year's time.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Okay, so there you go. You got that one. We got this one. We got the other. We got some others and all that other fun stuff. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world. Did I already say that there was no winner for Monday night's Powerball drawing? I don't think I did, but I'll talk about it anyways. Tonight's drawing will be for $575 million jackpot or a $400.93 million cash payout. So just in case, if you're looking on doing so, this has been making some things going around. So I'll talk about this. Yeah, let's talk about it. YouTube removed a New Year's Eve episode of Joe Rogan's podcast that featured Dr. Robert Malone, a vaccine scientist known for making controversial statements about the jab. In the episode, Malone compared the current U.S. public health climate to Nazi Germany. While YouTube has not yet given a definite reason for why they axed the show, the link has been deleted. Deleted video states that it has been removed for violating community guidelines. Now, I will reference this for the sake of saying so. The Joe Rogan show, or the Joe Rogan experience, because that's what it's really called, doesn't really air on YouTube. It's mostly Spotify, and sometimes they do a clip. So I'm not justifying what is being done. I am just saying what's going on. So there you go. There you go. I don't know if you heard about this one. A phone number featured in the new Leonardo DiCaprio flick Don't Look Up caught many viewers by surprise. In the film, DiCaprio's character delivers a PSA urging Americans to call and said phone number. Those who called the number were shocked to find out that it was a sex hotline. Many took to social media to compare notes. So just in case if you're wondering about that, now you know. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world. I did mention this earlier. I'll mention it again. The Washington football team is soon to be no more. The organization announced yesterday they will reveal their new name on February the 2nd. Some of the names mentioned through but not confirmed are Red Dogs, Defenders, Armada, Presidents, Brigade, Commanders, and Red Wolves. So there you go. I guess that's an interesting one. If you're looking for those. Anyways, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. So let's take a look at this. Back in 2020, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood wins Best Comedy Musical, and 1917 wins Best Drama at the 77 Golden Globes. Renee Zellweger, Joaquin Phoenix, and Taron Egerton also took home the night's big awards, so just in case. Let's talk about some birthdays going on. Reality star Christian Cavallari turns 35 today. Jason Mitchell, 35. January Jones turns 44. Bradley Cooper, 47. Marilyn Manson, yes, the singer, turns 53. Heather Dubrow turns 53. Carrie Ann turns 54 today. Clancy Brown turns 63. Diane Keaton turned 76, so that's what's going on inside of the world of the birthdays. If you're looking for a reason to celebrate, I have a few of those for you. It's National Bird Day, National Keto Day, National Screenwriters Day, and National Whipped Cream Day. So there you go, some days to look at if you're wanting to celebrate some things. That's some things to celebrate. Think about it from that particular fashion. Let's take a look at some other stuff real quick that we can talk about before we get you out of here. If you need some whack facts, here's some for you. You do not need a driver's license to be a NASCAR driver. The use of seatbelts in F1 racing wasn't mandatory until 1971. Watching a horror movie can burn up to 200 calories, the same as walking for about 30 minutes. The Big Dipper is known as casserole in France. Not two cornflakes are identical. Reincarnation is forbidden in China without government's permission. I wonder how you get that one. That sounds like an interesting one. If you need some scoops of BS, here's some real quick. Rumor has it that Tori Spelling is thinking of filing for divorce from Dean McDermott. As usual, the feminine beauty is like that, won't stay single for long, and Tori Spelling should have no problem getting dates either. Kristen Stewart revealed on the Howard Stern show that she is engaged to the love of her life, so congratulations, Kristen Stewart and Kristen Stewart. A report claims that dancing makes you smarter and healthier. The results were gathered from studies that were performed nowhere near Paula Abdul. Scientists claims that hops, a main ingredient in beer, has medical properties appropriate since it helps numb the pain that I've spent too much on booze. Diane Keaton is 76 today, which also means it's the 60th anniversary of the same day that she became too old for Woody Allen.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, if you need a random joke for today, here you go. I don't like agreeing to plans too far in advance because I don't know how I'll feel about it the day of. I also don't like the same day plans because it's too short of a notice. So where's my support group? Because I guess I need to find one of those. If you need a phone starter for today, you can try this. One piece of tech existing or imagined would transform your work life. What is it? I don't know. That's something for you to answer. Definitely not me. If you need something for the water cooler, try this one. Question: on average, we go through 3 of these every year. What are they? Tubes of toothpaste. Really? Only 3? I feel like I go through a lot more than just 3 in a year. No, seriously. Maybe they mean by 3 by individuals. I don't know. Something to think about for sure. Anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on RadioBig.fm and SafetyFM.com. If you're wanting to hang on, do some more things, I'll be going over exclusively to Radio Big, doing the stuff over there. So all you have to do is type in RadioBig.fm on any web browser, and that will get you over there. We can hang out and do some things together if you're so inclined to do so. Anyways, thank you for taking a listen to what we have going on, because we can't do what we do without you, the most important part, and that is the listener. Anyways, if I can leave you with a thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. A wise man never knows all. Only fools know everything. Think about that. Seriously, think about it. Anyways, thank you. I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.